back to another Writers Wednesday. On Writers Wednesday, I usually go over books that I have recently read and I judge them. It's going to be a little bit different today because currently I am moving apartments and I have all of my books completely packed away in a ginormous box. But no worries, I was not going to leave you without a video this week. Today we will be talking about the beloved Disney princes and seeing truly which one is the very best. Not the hottest, because then this would be titled Who is the Hottest Disney Prince? I'm talking about the best developed characters of the Disney princes. Before I get into this video, I definitely want to make a disclaimer. This video is not meant for younger children. The reason that I am putting this video out for Disney princes is because I think that it's easy for everybody to recognize the character traits that these men have, not to make it appealing for children. Don't come after me, COPPA. If you want to know more about the things going on in YouTube with COPPA, Matt, Pat, and this guy describe it a lot better than I do, so you can click their links down below. Without further ado, let's get started. Basically what I did is I made an Instagram post and I had my followers vote on which Disney prince is the best, kind of doing a little tree teeter thing, whatever you call that graph, that's what I did. Now I did this a couple of weeks ago, so I'm gonna have to go back into my archives and see how all of this is going. So in the very beginning, I made sure that everybody was aware that we were not picking the most attractive prince, but the characteristics, the personality, and the overall effort they put into the relationship with the princes, because that is very telling of how they treat women in relationships, of what kind of character they are. The characters that do not count are characters that in no way are related to royalty. For example, characters such as Tarzan or John Smith are not going to be counted in this competition. However, princes like Kristoff and Flynn Rider, or Eugene, whatever you want to call him, are included because they are interested in a princess, and if they marry, they therefore become prince. First up, I had the prince from Snow White and the prince from Cinderella up, and it was not really a surprise that Prince Charming won by a landslide of 80%. And then I decided to put together Kristoff and Flynn Rider because that's always the big idea of who is truly better. They're completely different. I don't understand why people always compare the two of them, but they do, so I thought it would be a little bit fun to tease my followers to see truly how many people think which one is better. Kristoff barely lost by a little bit. Eugene won by 57% of the votes. And then we had Prince Eric up against Prince Phillip. So Prince Phillip lost by a lot. Prince Eric won by 73%. And then for the Beast and Aladdin, the Beast barely lost by 46% and Aladdin won by 54%. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to put Prince Naveen in the running because we have an odd number of princes, which, let me tell you, is extremely annoying. So I put him in the second round because I figured a lot of people will still like Prince Naveen. And this is what I had to respond after all of the votes. Okay, everybody, I am quite surprised by some of the results. I think that some people just chose their favorite prince, which is fine, I guess. I shouldn't judge how people vote, but I have some disagreements. Nevertheless, we need to move on with our winners. I'm not going to wait the full 24 hours because it seems pretty clear of who each of the winners are. So, continuing on, who is the best Disney prince? Also, I do know that I did not add Prince Naveen in here. I'm going to go back and forth on a couple of them. So how I'm going to do this, since there is an odd amount of princes, which bothers me, I am going to have the person who won the most not be included in the next part of the competition. So they get a free pass, they're gonna go on to the next round, and we'll put in Prince Naveen. I basically took Prince Charming out of the running for the next round because he slaughtered the Prince of Snow White. He's not in this round, but we have got Aladdin and Eugene up against each other. Now, Eugene definitely won this round, which I thought was interesting. I compared the two of them because they're both robbers, basically. They weren't started out as princes. They struggled in their childhood and in their life with their wealth. And so I just kind of thought it was fun to see which one people truly like better. Eugene won that round. I found it really interesting that when I added Prince Naveen to Prince Eric, more people liked Prince Naveen, which I was actually very, very happy about. So the last three contenders were Prince Naveen, Prince Charming, and Eugene. which is a very interesting top 3 choice, I think. So the way that I calculated the people who won inside of like first, second, third place is I basically added all of the percents together. Maybe not mathematically completely correct, I understand, but it at least in turn shows when they were up against somebody that they got a huge percentage on that actually upped them in the scale. So even though Prince Charming in Cinderella was in the last round, he actually did not get in the first 3 places. Let me tell you all the results. I'm gonna start from 9th place, which is pretty obvious, the prince from Snow White. There's really no need for an explanation there. Also, as I'm going through these princes, I'm going to tell you the things that I did not agree with, the comments that I put in there based on character development things. 8th place was Prince Phillip, that's a tongue twister, and I was really disappointed by this. It's obvious not a lot of people remember Sleeping Beauty, or else I guarantee he would be higher on the list. He freaking slayed a dragon, he's hysterical, probably honestly one of the funniest princes, I think in my opinion, of all of the princes in Disney, but people have spoken, we are carrying on. This one surprised me as well. Kristoff ended up in 7th place, but I think it's because he did not even get through to the first round. And then 6th place was the Beast, and I do disagree with this one a little bit, but I want to get more into that when I do everything on my own. And then 5th place was Aladdin, and I realized the entire time that I was spelling his name wrong. What a freaking atrocity that is, because hello, this is my name. Also, fun fact, my parents claim that they named me Jasmine based on the flower, but there is overwhelming evidence that actually I'm named after the Disney princess, because my dad actually went to the theater 4 times, I think. In the middle of Dead Winter, I'm pretty sure, is when the Aladdin movie came out. He was a college student at this point, and he saw Aladdin in the theater 4 times. 4 times. As a college man, willingly. By himself. So even though they say I'm named after the flower, I don't think I am. The top 3 princes ended up being 3rd place Prince Eric, which don't even get me started about my opinion about Prince Eric, because it's not a good one. I'll get into that later though, thanks for asking. And then we have Prince Naveen in 2nd place, which I was actually pleasantly surprised by this one. I think that the people of Instagram did good on here, and the final person that is a prince winning by a landslide, a freaking landslide. It wasn't even like a competition. It was straight up. Eugene Fitzherbert is the king of the Disney princes. Alright, so now it's my turn. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go get a notebook. I can find a notebook. Actually, I'll use this one. Okay, she's back. She's back. Okay. I'm in. Also, I would really like everybody to appreciate the fact that my husband got me this notebook. Any of those who watch Criminal Minds or just are Matthew Gray Googler fans, you'll understand. Not my favorite picture of him, but I mean, come on, it's Matthew Gray Googler. It's fine, it's fine. So I'm gonna write down all of the princes' names, and I am going to put them into different categories. Now, there is one prince that I am going to leave out, and that is the prince on Snow White. Here's the deal. He's not a bad character. He is just a poorly developed character. He really didn't have a chance to be developed in the story anyway, and I know that's basically just how the folklore put him in, which does bother me because there's no way that you can love somebody without knowing them. That's called infatuation, not love. Love is when you would do anything for them, no matter what the cost is, and honestly, I don't think the prince would have done that. Not because he's a bad person, but just because he doesn't even know the girl. So I'm not going to add in the prince of Snow White in there just because there's not a lot to work with. So first I am going to pair together Prince Charming and Prince Phillip together. So let's start with Prince Charming since everybody is obsessed with him. I don't understand why they're obsessed with him. According to my cousin, it's because the Prince Charming on the Cinderella live version is apparently amazing. I haven't seen the film yet, but we're just gonna stick to the originals for today. So Prince Charming, he is very charming. Every woman in the kingdom wants to marry him. And he is a really nice, sweet guy. In my opinion, there just isn't a lot of very good character about him. Think of it this way. So Cinderella leaves because she has to before her little carriage turns into a pumpkin and when her dress turns back into rags, and then he figures out, oh no, she's a I don't know what she is actually. Is she like milkmaid, a poor girl, a servant? I don't know. She's just there and she's not wealthy. The only way he thinks in his mind to find her is, oh, I have this shoe. Maybe it'll fit on her. He does not remember what she looks like. He didn't think, oh, maybe I can go look for her and see if I recognize her anywhere. No. He takes the freaking glass slipper and is like, let's just see which woman this fits. He didn't actually see Cinderella and it was like, oh, that's the chick, that's her. I don't know, it just seems very odd. Not really thinking, honestly. I know that's the big magical part of the folklore, which also another thing that doesn't make sense. If the carriage and the dress go to its original form, why wouldn't the glass slippers? Why wouldn't they just turn into, I don't know, regular fur slippers or something? I don't know. There are a lot of things that just aren't explained in the legend of Cinderella. Which bugs me, but it's fine. I'm talking way too much about Prince Charming. Basically, I don't think Prince Charming is as great of a character as everybody thinks he is. I think he is very handsome, but I don't think that he has a very good character development. There really just isn't much to him and he seems like a shallow person, which can you blame him? He's a prince. Let's go into Prince Phillip. Now, not a lot of people remember Prince Phillip because honestly, I don't think a lot of people were a big fan of the movie of Sleeping Beauty. There were just a lot of different portions in there where Aurora wasn't even really a big part of the story, which makes sense because she's the Sleeping Beauty. I mean, she's been sleeping through half of the movie. But Prince Phillip is so funny. He loves animals, his horse is his best friend, and he's also very respectful, but at the same time he is bold. When he first meets Aurora, he is very charming, very funny, and even though she says, oh, I don't know you, you're a stranger, he kind of goes along with her comfort level of once upon a dream. He consistently pursues her as well. It is not a, oh, I guess I'll just go have to find her some way with a, let's say, a glass slipper. He consistently wants to be with her. He straight up tells his dad, I'm not marrying the princess that you set me up with because I fell in love with a girl and I'm gonna go get her and I'm gonna marry her. And not everybody can do that. That really takes a huge amount of character to do that. So I think, in my opinion, Prince Phillip wins this round. Come on, you slay a dragon, you win the round. Moving on to the next part is the Beast versus Prince Eric. Yes, the Beast has very bad anger issues that he needs to deal with. I get that. It's not okay for anybody to have anger issues. That is a bad character trait to have. But what I like about the Beast is what you see is what you get. There's really nothing that he is going to hide behind, and when he improves and gets better, he truly is getting better. One part that I like about the Beast character that I think a lot of people take for granted is the fact that he let Belle go before anything happened and went down at the castle. It wasn't based on, oh, her safety, she needs to go, which I mean is a natural response. He let her go so that she could save her dad, and that would make him a beast forever. Forever! And that is huge. That is huge. That is a giant sacrifice that he had to make. So the Beast is actually a really, really good developed character. He turns into a different person quite literally and figuratively at the very end of the movie. So let's talk about McDreamy. No, not that McDreamy. This McDreamy. Prince Eric, who everyone is obsessed with. And I don't know why they're obsessed with him because honestly, he's a dud. He is very heroic. He wants to think that he's really heroic. I mean, yes, he did save his dog on a burning ship, but any good person would do that. Anyone would do that for their dog. Here's the thing, he's just a little, how do I put this? He's just very thick. Not thick like as in muscle, like dang, you're thick, like thick in the head. Like he doesn't, there's really not much to him. Ariel is constantly having to save him from drowning, literally all the time. And once he actually sees her, falls in love with her, and he's really crazy about her, once again, he doesn't recognize her. I know that you couldn't see her face very well when she first rescued him and he woke up from consciousness, but come on, man, you can at least remember the hair. Ariel comes onto the land, and he literally, legitimately does not recognize her. He's like, oh, you had to sing for me to recognize you. You're that girl, what's your name? And then he realizes, oh, she can't sing, it must not be her. Like, ugh. And I get that he's just trying to do a process of elimination of, oh, well, if she is mute, then I guess that she didn't sing to me, which I guess makes sense, but at the same time, like, dude, it's definitely that girl. He's very easy to manipulate as well. Like when Ursula comes onto the land, kind of shapeshifts as Ariel, has Ariel's voice, he legitimately is like, oh, this is the girl I need to marry, I'm in a trance, and it's like, oh my gosh. He is the perfect example of a person having a very pretty face and being taken advantage of because of that, which is kind of a bummer. I'm sure he's a very nice guy, but he also needs to grow a pair. Like, really, he needs to grow a pair. Be a man, Eric. I think the Beast wins this round for me. Going into Aladdin. The oh so wonderful, amazing Aladdin. Don't get me wrong, I freaking love Aladdin. There is a reason why it is one of the best Disney movies, I think. I mean, come on, Disney Plus, their logo is literally, we will take you to a whole new world. Wonder where they got that from. Aladdin's have a tough life. And I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for having a tough life and being a street rat and all that stuff. Having to be a little bit dishonest, but it goes too far for me. I am literally talking about just character development here. I'm not talking about my favorite Disney prince because honestly, he would be probably at the very top tier of my favorite Disney princes. But he is a compulsive liar, and that is not a good trait to have in somebody that you are courting. And I think what bothers me more is not the fact that he lied initially, it's the fact that Princess Jasmine gave him a huge window of opportunity to tell her the truth. He still lied to her, which is so mind-boggling to me because I think that Jasmine was a lot smarter than Aladdin took credit for. And I don't know, that part really bothered me. And the fact that he didn't learn his lesson until literally everything went wrong doesn't really show good things about his character. Don't worry, Aladdin, I will always love you. Next on the list that we've got is Kristoff. Kristoff is an interesting controversial subject. Is he a good prince? Is he not a good prince? Which I don't know why people dislike Kristoff. The reason why I really like Kristoff is because he's always very true to the person that he is. He never deviates from it once. He is the person that tells you the things that you need to hear when you don't want to hear them, which honestly, I'm really glad that he did that with Anna because that really showed her that he would be completely honest with her no matter what. Honestly, not something that our other prince over here had. Kristoff also really loves animals. I think he loves animals a little too much, and he is just a little bit odd. He's not as suave as Aladdin is. I'm sorry, Aladdin, I'm gonna have to pick Kristoff. Next on the list is Eugene and Naveen. Wow, okay, I don't know how to choose in between these two because both of these characters are really good. I think that a lot of people don't recognize how good of a character Naveen is, even though, yeah, he is a really stuck-up prince in the very beginning. He changes so much and beforehand is totally dedicated to just giving Tiana everything she ever dreamed of, even if that meant not being with her. Kind of similar to the Beast, where he basically just gives the ultimate sacrifice of everything. If for some reason the only way that Tiana could get her restaurant is if he stayed a frog, I'm not sure if he would do that. I do think that he grew a lot and truly loved Tiana for the person that she was and the hardworking woman, independent that she is. Probably should have said independent woman, but it's fine, it's fine. And then last but not least, we have Eugene. Now Eugene is really, really great. And I think that similar to Naveen, I think that people really don't like Eugene in the very beginning because he's kind of a jerk. He's every man for himself kind of guy. But I think the difference that Eugene has from all of the other princes is the fact that he legit proved himself that he would die for Rapunzel. He would die for his love. I mean, I guess Prince Phillip kind of showed that too because he fought the dragon, and then Prince Eric kind of did the same thing because he was willing to die just to beat Ursula so that Ariel could be safe and all that stuff, but you know, he literally died for her in the movie. I'm sorry, Naveen. I gotta go with Eugene. I'm so sorry. Next up we have Prince Phillip versus the Beast. Now here's the thing. I think that Prince Phillip wins this round. He doesn't have anger issues, and it's pretty apparent that he is very charming along with also heroic. So I think that Prince Phillip is gonna win that round. So funny how my personal timeline of all these princes looks entirely different to the one that I put on Instagram. Like, wow. Eugene and Kristoff. It always ends up being against Eugene or Kristoff. Okay, here's the deal. I do really like Kristoff, and I think that he would genuinely risk his life for Anna, especially in the fact that there is a second Frozen movie, which, by the way, I have not seen yet. It's just that one-up of Eugene literally died. I mean, he stopped breathing. Like, it's hard to top. It really is. So I'm sorry, Kristoff. Eugene wins by just a smidge. So now it's in between Prince Phillip and Eugene. I don't know who to choose! I feel like I'm dying inside. Prince Phillip has already made it further than he was. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to go with Eugene as number one. Again, Eugene, I'm sorry guys, Eugene is just the best. He shows the best development of character when he is going through the actual story. I feel like he has more of an opportunity to get to know Rapunzel, to know her dreams and her wants. The fact that it's like, you were my new dream, I'm like, okay. You got me there. I think that he had the best turnaround of a character and really deserves to be with Rapunzel 100%, and Rapunzel deserves to be with him. Okay guys, I did it! I finally have the completed list. So the way that I figured out this is obviously I chose the winners first. Starting with number 9, even though the Prince of Snow White was not included in this because obviously he just doesn't have much to his story, I still wanted to put him at 9th place. I still need to respect the rules. In 8th place is Prince Charming. I know a lot of you are gonna hate me for that because he was 4th place in the other one, but I think comparing the first 2 losers of the first round side by side, Prince Eric and Prince Charming, I would choose Prince Eric. Prince Eric is a little bit more passionate and he is a little bit more involved with wanting to find out who Ariel is. Even though he's really stupid about it, he at least has good intentions at heart. Prince Charming kind of just saw this girl once and was like, hey, I think you're hot. I want to marry you, you know? And then next up on the list, Prince Charming was 8, Prince Eric is 7, Aladdin landed in at 6. Comparing the personality of Naveen and Aladdin, which Naveen only barely lost to that, by the way, I would much rather have Naveen. He learned his lesson before things got bad and really wanted to change, whereas Aladdin had to be shown the worst to even make any remote changes in his life. Aladdin 6, Naveen is 5, Beast is number 4. With the Beast, he does have anger issues and it's very difficult for, you know, someone with anger issues to have a good relationship, but the fact that he completely changes that, I think, has really good character description and development about him, and the fact that he completely was selfless with the way that he loved Belle, that put him up higher in the ranks as well. I think that Naveen and the Beast is kind of like a toss-up of which one is better, but I think the reason, you know what, I think I'm going to change that. I think I'm going to change Beast to number 5 and Naveen to number 4 because Naveen does not have anger issues. He's just kind of stuck up. And then in 3rd place we have Kristoff, which I think is a redemption from the other poll that everybody else did. I think that everybody really does like Kristoff a lot, and I think he is a very good character. He's just very steady. He's honestly probably the most steady characters of all these princes, so I think he very much deserves that 3rd place. And then we have Prince Phillip, where he has risen in the ranks, which I am very happy about because Prince Phillip is funny, he's got all the charm, but he also has the good personality, and you just don't get that with every single prince that you have. They're either kind of stuck up or they have anger issues, but then in the end they turn out okay. Prince Phillip was the entire package from the beginning. I don't care what anyone else has to say, watch the movie before you make judgments. Of course, the king of the princes, once again, is Eugene. I'm actually kind of surprised of how much I have liked Eugene throughout this process, but I mean, it really is true. He's developed so much. I mean, starting from stealing a crown just for the sake of stealing a crown, and that his dream beforehand was being surrounded by enormous piles of money on an island that he owns, and he meets Rapunzel, and he grows fond of her, and then he switches that shallow dream to the fact that she was his new dream. Come on, guys, like, come on. I'm really interested to see of which list that you like more. If you think that my points are valid, I would love to hear some more about some comments down below. And every Wednesday I'm going to be making videos like this. I kind of want to switch some things up and not always do book reviews. I do enjoy watching movies. I am a very cinematic type of person. I actually got part of my major, a small module portion in videography. So I really like looking at different movies and how characters develop there as well, because once again, it's still a story. Sayonara everybody, and I will see you next